Oh man, I'm out here. Oh man, I'm out here. Hey, what's going on, man? What's going on? What's goody? What's good, my brothers, sisters, uncles, sons, fathers, daughters, whoever watching, man? Nobody, because I'm a nobody. So people ain't gonna be on this like that. I'm gonna just get my thoughts out, man. It's an emotional day, man. I ain't gonna just sit here and act like it's not, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, as we all know, as far as, you know, it's still not 100% official report, but you know what I'm saying? We haven't heard from him. Kev is out of there, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kevin Samuels is going. And yo, man, like the emotions is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? If I got here, I act like I ain't shed no tears. I did. Like, you know, if I'm emotionally connected with somebody and they pass away, even if I've never met them, if they've meant something to me in my life, and they unexpectedly pass, so that shit sting, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, you got all these people like, you know, celebrating his death, sick ass motherfuckers, as if he was the worst person on earth and he was like a terrorist or some shit like that. But yo, dude was just a YouTuber, man. Just spreading his opinion. Manosphere, red pill, and just holding people accountable. The crux of his message, if you take away everything and take away average at best, if you take away the grading system, you know, if you take away sometimes him calling women bitches, but he only did it when people got disrespectful towards him. But you know what I'm saying? If you take away any of those abrasive moments that he had, the crux of his message was, if you want better out of life, you have to do better. That's what it comes down to. And this is the thing. A lot of people want better out of life, but they're not willing to put in the work. And they see other people that are successful, you know, they don't know the hours, the 10,000 hours that they put in to master whatever it is that they're trying to achieve. They don't know all the blood, sweat, and tears. They only see the end result, the final result, and they get a little resentment now. And there's a lot of people that do get successful, and they're condescending assholes, and they speak down on those that aren't successful. That entity exists too. So I think a lot of people conflate that with Kev as somebody who was successful that was looking down on people. And from what I gathered, from what I've watched, that's just not the case. It's not the case at all. You know, he started off as an image consultant. His job was to help people out with their image as far as like clothing and fragrance and things of that nature. And then he used to always give advice to men and talk to men about, you know, you want the baddest women in the world, XYZ, but you out of shape. You know, you don't got $500 in the bank. You got no goals or aspirations. But you think just because you get horny that you should have all the baddest bitches in the world. No, you got to step your game up. He was on that time with men for years. But see, the thing is, men, especially black men, we've been getting shitted on and abused and told we got to step our game up and all these things. Man, black men been feeling that rhetoric and that conversation since the 60s, especially all through the 80s when you had Sally Jesse Raphael and Rolanda and Geraldo, you know what I mean? And in the 90s you had, well, obviously Maury still, I think he's still going, Maury, Jerry Springer, and there was one, what was it, Richard Bay? That was one too, but he was more goofy. He was like a goofier version of Jerry Springer. When Jerry Springer was more serious, Richard Bay was more ratchet. And then Jerry Springer became Richard Bay. But that's before some of y'all young folk time that's tuning in or whatever. But yeah, man, black, we've been feeling this shit. Oprah Winfrey, like, you know what I mean? All these movies depicting black men as this savage brute beast. Like, black, especially like color purple. That's a prime example, man. Like the flame has been held to the fire of black men's feet for decades. You know, but it takes two to tango. Like, as far as the state and our black community, yeah, a lot of it has to do with white supremacy, but a lot of it is choices that black men have made, poor choices, and a lot of it is poor choices that black women have made. You know what I'm saying? So he came at the men for a little bit, but like men, we could take it, especially black men. We're used to getting shitted on and told we need to step it up. Like what did Barack Obama said? Black men need to step their game up in XYZ, but said nothing about women. I think it was Father's Day, and I forget which. I think it was either Mother's Day or I think it was a day for mothers, and he used that as an opportunity to like shit on black men. Like what the fuck? But they're good. Instead of like taking a good holiday like Mother's Day and using it to shit on black men, why not? You know, thank you for the mothers and thank you for the good husbands and the good men that are in these mothers' wives. Barack could have said that, but no, he just shat on black men. Happens all the fucking time, yo. It happens all the time with men. And now women, they're called the matriarchs, and the women are called the backbone of the backbone of the black community. And we see our communities in shambles. So if they're the backbone, you know what I mean? They have to be held accountable too. They have to be held accountable for the mates that they choose, for the babies that they choose to carry, like for having children with men that they shouldn't be having with. These are the things that Kev talked about, man. You know, yeah, he just has an abrasive way of saying it, and he says, if you want better things out of life, you got to do better in life, right? And if the only thing, like, say, if you are a certain woman in a certain demographic, but you want this rich guy that's in shape, that's young, in shape, could fight, he's rich, brilliant, you want all these things, then there are certain things that you have to be able to bring to the table if that's what you want. And if that's the only thing that you want, and you are not willing to step it up, to mold yourself in the way that attracts these men, then that's when the whole concept of you're going to die alone comes from. He's not saying, oh, you're just going to die alone because you're out of shape, or because you a baby mama, or because you're a fat dude and you broke. He's not saying you're going to die alone because of that. He's saying if you're a broke fat dude and you only want supermodels don't go for broke fat dudes. So if your mind is so closed that that's the only thing you want, but you're not trying to like put yourself in a position to attract those types of people, then in that instance, you're going to die alone. Yes, there are always exceptions to the rule where like some rich person saw somebody who wasn't rich, but he had some type of vibe or some type of connection, and then they came together. That exists. But we can't like go through life just hoping that exceptional things, like hoping that things that are considered exceptions happen in order for us to be successful. Yes, I can go through life with the hope of hitting the lottery. I can go through life and you know what? Yo, I'm gonna get everything right. Once the lottery hit, I'm gonna be straight. Once the lottery hit, I'm good. But then it never happens. But you know what I'm saying? Now, here I am waiting for the lottery to hit, waiting for me to save and rescue me when I could be getting in better shape. I could be working on my jokes. I could be, saving money and investing money and producing shows. I could wait for that lottery ticket to happen. Or, you know what? I could just be an active participant in my success in life and not just leave it only to chance. And that's all Kevin was saying, man. Yes, he's abrasive, but he only gets like that when people disrespect his platform and disrespect him. So he's trying to give advice, and people seek out the advice. He doesn't volunteer it. He's trying to give advice, and then people want to come at him saying he's gay and he's a snitch and a turncoat, all kind, any negative thing that you can think of. They try to put pedophilia on him, and they literally had some chick call up pretending like he was his daughter. She was his daughter, saying that he was physically abusive to her. But that didn't blow up. It was such bullshit that it never, that particular story like never got any kind of legs or whatever, But what does he mean for me, man? like me, yes, you know, I am an underachiever in life. I should be doing a hell of a lot better. You know what I mean? I don't put the blame on anybody but myself and the choices that I've made. Yes, you know, if I grew up in a different situation or different environment or different atmosphere, things may be different. This is the truth. This is true. But I also made it to the age of 43, despite any mistakes that I've made or what I've gone through in life. I'm still here. I'm still relatively healthy. I'm still able-bodied. So I still have an opportunity to improve things, and I'm working on things, man. And just listening to Kevin, you know, a lot of times I ain't gonna lie, like, you know what? It's a lot of people that they watch a clip or two, or you know what I'm saying? They just found out about him, and they're formulating all these opinions, and they're very emotional. But they're very emotional over Kevin. You know, negative emotions. But that's the power that he had as a speaker. That's how powerful he was as an influential as a speaker, that he could just motivate and move people that don't even know him to hate him, and he can motivate and move people that don't even know him to improve and better their lives. That's a testament to how influential he is, and how much of an influencer he is, you know? So some people, they get all emotional, they feel all upset. And this is the thing, I don't listen to a lot of Kevin Samuels, because if you listen to it, if you are not where you need to be in life, and you're constantly listening to somebody telling people what it is they need to do if they want a better life. He doesn't tell people what to do in life in general. He tells people what to do if they want a certain quality of life. So he's not speaking to everyone, because not everyone wants a certain quality of life, and not everybody wants to be rich. Not everybody wants to be worth $1 million. So a lot of people are just comfortable in their stage in life, and they're fine. But this is the problem. There are some people that hate their position in life, but they don't have any confidence in themselves of coming out of that situation. So when they hear somebody like Kevin just talking, you know, constantly talking about the rating system and how if you high value, you should be making $10,000 a month consistently for 3 years, and you should be loved and not loved, but respected and by your peers and your network. The people that are around you should have similar success. And you don't have any of those things, and you want those things, and you see this guy talking about it, you're going to feel like, you're going to internalize it and feel like he's speaking directly to you, even though he don't know you. It's just that you happen to be in that situation. You're going to feel some type of way. So I get it. If you're not being objective, if you're only internalizing it, I can get why some people can be bothered by him. And I can get why some people are rejoicing and happy at the fact that he passed away. I get it. But I would just ask those people, yo, just be more objective. Be more open-minded. Take away him saying bitch. And no, he doesn't belittle people or put anybody down. No, he doesn't do that. He's just saying not everybody is qualified for every situation. That's not a put down. That's reality. Not everybody is qualified to be a pilot for NASA. I'm not qualified to be a pilot for NASA. So if you point that out to me like, yo, damn, NASA, them spaceships is good. Those spaceships beautiful. Like, yeah, I mean, it's cool that you want to fly it and all, but you're not qualified. Yeah. Matter of fact, that's like me saying, yeah, I'm about to get a job application for NASA. Like, you have no military training, no aerial training. You don't got none of that. You're not qualified. You know what you talking about, man? I can do that shit too. Like, no. That's the truth. That's not belittling. That's not a put down. That's reality. Not everybody is qualified for every situation in life. And he says that, and like I said, a lot of people want better out of life, but they don't want to work for it. So when they hear somebody saying that, and they don't want to work for it, they feel some type of way, man. You know? So what does he mean for me? Just listening to him. Like if not for Patrice O'Neal, I would not be doing stand-up comedy. For those who know, I don't want to give his whole history, but Patrice O'Neal was a controversial comedian who a lot of people say is the father of the MGTOW movement, men going their own way, the red pill. And he holds men accountable, but he really, really holds women accountable, because he feels like women choose men, and men only do the things that women allow them to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he's saying if women step their game up as far as how they carry themselves and as far as the things that they accept in life, then men by proxy were going to step their game up. But it works both ways too. We both both men and women, we both have to have a higher expectancy of each other, you know? And I think once you have an higher expectancy, you do better. So I've been on this mental journey. Well, I've always been a logical person since I was little, since I can remember. You know what I'm saying? Even though I do have impulses and I make a ton of bad mistakes, but overall I feel like I'm led by logical. At least I try to be logical and not as overly emotional. I try to. I'm not perfect, and I mess up all the time, but I try to. But so I've been on that time for a while. So when Kevin finally, you know, when he dropped, I don't even know how I started listening to him. I don't know how I came in contact with him. But when I started watching that stuff, I think it was around the average at best. I think it was around that. And once I watched it, I was like, yo, what he's saying is some real shit. The average at best, it was a lady. She was okay. She was decent looking, had a nice body, but she had a child that was a 10-year-old. She owned her own business. I think she's 35, but she wants like millionaire men. And all Kevin was trying to say is most millionaires that are highly successful, if they had their choice, they would rather not deal with somebody that's a single parent, you know, that's pushing their 40s. Yes, there are exceptions, but for the most part, that's not their first choice. And that's all he was saying. And by him saying she was average at best, she's the one that admitted it, because she's the one that rated herself. Know this, Kevin Samuels don't rate nobody until they rate themselves, and then he'll say if he agrees. But he said, give me how do you think you look fresh out the shower, no makeup, just the face, on a scale of 1 to 10. You can't use 7 because most women, they don't want to say they're too beautiful, but they don't want to say they're ugly, so they say 7, you know. So she said, without makeup I'm a 5, with makeup I'm a 6. And he's like, yo, a 5 or a 6, that's average at best. That's what he said. But she gave herself the rating. So the average at best, well, first of all, the phrase average at best, and I've known this had I not recently watched the series for the first time. Shoot me, because I should have watched it. But in The Sopranos, Tony was talking when he was lusting over his nephew's girl, the blonde chick. I can't remember their names or whatever. And his nephew and the girl, the blonde chick, they were going through it or whatever. And then Tony just took a liking to her and was hanging out with her and stuff. And he started lusting off her and shit. They almost fucked, but it didn't happen. They got in a car accident. She's about to give him head or some crazy shit. Or whatever. They just had a moment and they crashed. They're looking for drugs. They was like trying to score some coke. But anyway, when he was talking to his nephew, he was like, she's a knockout. She's a stunner. Beautiful body, blah, 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 this and that, this and that. He said, look at you. You're average, look at you. You're average at best. You're lucky you even got a girl like that. You're average at best. Come on, look at you. You know, you got this beautiful girl, you're running around, you're treating like shit, and your dog shit, she's beautiful, she has nice tits, she has all these things, and look at you, man. You're scrawny, you're a loser, you're average at best. So Kevin got the average at best phrase. He did not coin that. That actually came from whoever wrote that episode of The Sopranos. That's why, you know, and that The Sopranos came out way before Kevin hit the scene. That's where that came from. But Kevin was notorious for that. Kevin, you know, he watched like a lot of different YouTubers, and he took a lot from Tommy Sotomayor. You know, and they had a crazy ass falling out, but I don't want to talk about the falling outs. But when he was like, you can't make this shit up, he got that from Tommy, straight up. When he says Madden King, talking about people playing video games all the time and shit like that, he got that from Tommy. He got a lot of talking points from Tommy, and it's too bad, Tommy Sotomayor, and it's too bad that they had a falling out, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just watching Kev and looking at my life and knowing I have to step my game up. But sometimes when you're in a bad situation in life or you're not doing too good, but you don't hear anybody talking about better things or basically just stepping it up and being better, if you don't hear anybody shaming that behavior, it's easy to not improve. It's easy to just continue living however it is that you're living. GPS, but yeah, it's easy to continue living how you're living if nobody's, if like, you know what I mean? If you going like a downward sputtering spiral and nobody's ever checking you on how you are, it's easy to continue living that way, man. You got to reprogram your brain by feeding yourself the necessary information to help be a catalyst and a flame to improve your station in life. And that's what Kev did to me, man. He did for me, man. watching them over these years, slow. I still got a long ways to go, man. But like, I brought a yoga mat, like a workout mat. Like, I've been really, really going hard. And I don't go super hard with the workout, but like the better term is I've been really, really consistent with my fitness and exercise. I want to say like around April of last year. And then at the time I started dating somebody who happened to be really, really into Kevin Samuels. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, she really, really agreed with a lot of his ideology. And the relationship was cool. But ultimately, I think one of the main reasons why it ended, because like we know Kevin Samuels' ideology and as far as like how high value men should be and where they need to be in life if they want to take care of a family. Like the person I dated, like they wanted to start a family and have kids and things of that nature. And I know for a fact I wasn't in that position, but at the time, you know what I'm saying, once we linked up, we just felt the sparks. You know what I'm saying? We felt that chemistry without any logic. We was like, yo, fuck it, we just gonna try to do it. But once you get going, and once the butterflies and the honeymoon stage wears off, and if you're both two logical individuals, man, we came to the conclusion like, yo, this ain't the time to do this, man. You know, she wanted what she wanted. You know, she wanted marriage and she wanted a kid and things of that nature, and she wanted it soon. You know, she's pushing 30 at the time, and she wanted it soon. And that's something that I'm probably 5 years off from now, as far as like getting my life together. You know what I mean? So it's just a good connection, but just bad timing. And as a man, I felt the separation starting to happen, and then I was just like, you know what? Hey, like, you know, I can see that the connection really ain't there no more, but we still cool. We can be amicable and just have a separation. I see it to this day. We still, hey, how you doing? Like, it's still cool, you know. But part of the reasons why I broke up with her, we broke up, and I you know, men are usually going to initiate when it comes to relationships, whether it's building a relationship or breaking up. You know, so a lot of times you got to be a man and step it up. Like sometimes some guys, they'll be with a chick and they will see that she's unhappy, but she may not be confrontational, or she just not used to telling a person like, oh, this is over, it's not going to work. So I've been in relationships plenty of times where I see that the woman isn't really as into me or interested in me anymore. But she doesn't have the heart to end it. So I've ended it. I've done it a few times. I'm not desperate. Like, I don't have to be in a relationship just for the sake of being in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even want to be in a relationship, but I know I'm getting older, and the older you get, these opportunities to really be with a cool person are few and far in between. So even against my better judgment, I still gave it a chance, but ultimately it didn't work out. And a lot of it, you know, you just realizing it. You listen to the Kevin Samuels and how you're supposed to be if you want to be in a productive relationship, in a productive situation. I knew I wasn't supposed to be in that. I knew, you know what I'm saying? It was like 5 months. I probably was in there longer than what I should have been in it. But it's cool. I learned from the experience. It was a great experience, man. You know, I developed a great friend out of it, even if it didn't work out. So it's all good. It's all good. I got no hard feelings. Am I not sad, but do I miss the relationship? I miss being in a relationship. It's not even about her. I do miss being in a relationship, but I do know in my mind that I'm not in no position to be in one at the moment, and I'm gonna stick by that shit. But anyway, that's, you know, some of the things that I learned from Kevin. And the thing is, I think if I wasn't on, like, when I met my ex, if I wasn't working out and if I didn't have that mentality, I would not have gotten as far with her that I got with her if I wasn't working out and doing X, Y, Z. If I was fatter and more lazier and not trying to really pump out this comedy, you know what I'm saying? I ain't the greatest, I ain't successful, but I ain't no bum either. I'm still trying. I'm driving to New York City right now to fucking hit up clubs and shit and do comedy over the weekend. Shout out to Andre Kim for putting me on tomorrow night. Yeah. But that's like, you know, watching Kevin, he was like, yo, I remember one, like how I carry myself going to comedy shows and even open mics. I used to always just like, I mean, I've never been a dusty nigga as far as how I dressed, but I wouldn't always be as conscious as of my presentation. And he really, really drive home. It's like, yo, if you really want to like put yourself in the mindset of just being a higher value, you don't have to have the designer shit, but at least have clean clothes, and step your game up as far as your presentation. If you want to say that you are a good comedian and separate yourself from the pack, even before you get on stage, at the minimum, you can separate yourself from the pack in how you present yourself and how you carry yourself, you know? And that's what I got from him. Like, that's what I get from him. Like he says, like, work 60 hours a week. I don't have the greatest job, but you know what? I could stand to work harder at that shit. I could stand to get up earlier in the morning, or if I'm not scheduled, I do Instacart. I do I do Point Pickup. I got other gig apps. You know what I'm saying? Like, I should always be out here, like, as long as I'm young and still able. I'm 43, but I'm still young. I still feel vibrant. Like, I can go out here, still play ball, still jog, still run around. As long as I'm still able-bodied and have the opportunity. And my savings, I don't got no savings. Like, if I die, or I'm not dying, if I get hurt or something like that, that's going to take me through retirement until I die. I don't have that. I don't got none of that shit, man. You know? But watching him, like guys, him and TK Kirkland talks about life insurance, like, you know, TK Kirkland and Patrice O'Neal, all these cats speaking that vein. And it's all about, yo, just being a man and stepping up your game, man, and not making any excuses. Regardless, oh, he putting people down, and he ain't putting nobody down. Only people that's taking it as a put down is people that want more out of life that's not working on that shit, man. And my boy just texted me talking about Kevin Samuels just died. That's eerie. It's very eerie, man. Especially like how, like, he carried himself so well. He was slim. He was in great shape. But one thing I will say, he stayed with an energy drink on his table, man. He stayed, and I'm not saying that's the cause of it, but you in your early 50s, going into your mid 50s, and you pounding those energy drinks that boost up your heart, artificially boost up your heart rate all the time. I'm talking about, he used to always drink them. And it's a crazy thing. Like, for a while, before I started really getting on my fitness, I used to always, and I'm still always sleepy. I'm an old dude, so I get sleepy at 3 o'clock every day. I'm surprised I'm up today, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm excited talking about this situation and kind of emotional too. But yeah, I used to drink a lot of them energy drinks too. And I knew, like, sometimes I would drink 4 of them shits at a comedy show, and I'll just be mad, jittery and shaking and staying up to like 5, 6 in the morning. Then I would have a bad day the next day because I'm tired, because I drank this artificial BS that kept me up, man. There's plenty of vitamins and nutrients that you can take where you don't need that false sense of energy. I got a fruit smoothie right here, right now, man. Got honey in it, got apples, it has banana, it has almond milk. Maybe got a little bit of sugar, but whatever. It's better than drinking that processed caffeine, man, you know? And I'm not saying that's the cause of death, but if you went to cardiac arrest and all you drink is Red Bulls, I'm not saying it caused him to die, but I'm willing to bet it certainly did not help him live. Certainly didn't help the situation, man. Yo, he just inspired me. Like, yo, so many better things that I'm doing with myself, just like on a small level. Like, I don't eat fast food no more. I'm not saying Kevin is the reason why I don't eat fast food, but him just talking about physical appearance and being in shape and constantly hearing that, drilling that to my head. And then when you start to get into fitness and working out, like, I did the weights and all that shit for years. You know what I'm saying? And you know what happened? I would go hard, I would diet hard, I would lose 40 pounds in 1 month, but then I gain it right back. Because I wasn't treating it as a lifestyle. I was just treating it as some shit I could do real quick. And then once I get my results, I don't have to stay with it no more. But this time around, I'm just eating better, and I know for a fact, man, if you working out, if you trying to work out and going hard and you eating shitty ass food all the time, it's like trying to drive with your parking brake on. Yeah, you're gonna get somewhere, but you're gonna get there real slow, and you're gonna damage your vehicle. You know, you're gonna damage the vehicle, and you're not gonna really make that much. You ain't gonna cover that much ground, man. You know. Now, like, I've been consciously ever since I found out that I had high blood pressure and things of that nature back in 2017. I've lost over 40 pounds within 4 years, and to me, that's a lot healthier than losing 40 pounds in 1 month. So if I've stepped it up as far as that, you know. And just listening to Kevin Samuels, and I'll throw you some names if you guys want to listen to some of you people that, if you love Kevin, but you want to listen to some people that can help try to fill the void a little bit. Listen to Obsidian. Listen to Crimson Cure, she's dope. Listen to Donovan Sharp. Listen to O'Shea Duke Jackson. Who else? Tommy Sotomayor. He has some similar tenets. Tariq Nasheed, even though, like, I don't know, I ain't gonna hate. This ain't no hating moment with Tariq Nasheed. There's a lot of Umar Johnson. There's a lot of them. Like yes, they all got their bullshit with them, but they all have positive things. Like, you take the meat and you spit out the bones. They all have positive things and positive information that can be of benefit and service to everybody, man. Like I said, Kevin's core message is, if you want better out of life, you have to do better. And another one of his tenets is, if you can't get that $1 million man, there's plenty of good men that make $60,000 a year that'll treat you just as good, and you probably won't have to worry about them, quote unquote, exercising their options. Because another one of Kevin's controversial tenets is that rich men don't cheat, they just exercise their options. Now that's a whole other conversation, and I know exactly what he means by that, but I don't feel like going in and breaking it down. I really don't want to do it. I'll probably talk about it another time. Like, since he passed away, man, like, yo, I'll talk more about his points, man. I'll fucking carry some of that shit and talk more about that shit. Yeah, fuck it. I do it anyway, but you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, more of us need to spawn off, and more of us need to start talking about it and keeping this message alive of empowerment with black men and just men in general, and empowerment with women too. More of us need to get in shape and eat better and want better and want more better out of each other. Does a baby mother deserve to have no happiness and no man? No, not at all. Not at all. Does a fat dude deserve to get no buns ever? No, not at all. But if you're a fat dude and all you want is supermodels, you're gonna have a hard time getting that, because supermodels ain't checking for fat dudes. If you're an obese baby mother with 7 kids, you know what I'm saying, and you don't really have confidence to take care of yourself, millionaires, that's not their first, second, third, fourth, or 100th choice. Yeah, there's a possibility you might have a situation where an NBA player goes to some random hotel and fucks some fat in the bathroom. Yes, that does happen, but that is an exception. That's not the rule. And that bitch getting broke off in the bathroom ain't getting broke off with no money. Not change, it's just a thrill, you know? Now, let's get to the next, hold on, one second. But now, another thing people are calling, talking about, this is my last part, and then I'm gonna holler at y'all, because I'm in the city and I wanna really focus on where I'm going. But some people, like, they rejoicing and calling this karma, man. Yo, like, I understand people celebrating somebody's death if they are an egregious person. Hold on. My bad. My phone was overheating, so the GPS kind of went away, so I had to bring it back. But now, if it's an egregious person that did heinous things in life and took the lives of people and did all kinds of lascivious and carnal things to individuals and just evil things to people, and they died unexpectedly, then the celebration of their death is understood. When Jeffrey Dahmer was killed, I understand people celebrating that. John Wayne Gacy, when he was executed, you know what I'm saying, I understand people celebrating that. Ted Bundy, I understand that. But just a talking head, just holding, is more funny than anything, and sometimes he was wrong. You know what I mean? Nobody's perfect, but overall, this dude was not some malicious, evil, sadistic person. Like, hey, my bad. Like, this must be a bad area. I'm in New York City now, but yeah, he wasn't wishing death on people and hoping people that would die. He only said you're gonna die alone when people are being myopic-minded and closed-minded about expanding their options as far as expanding. You know, he was only saying you're gonna die alone if you're just closed-minded. If your mind is set on a certain type of person and you do not fit the demographic of what that person is attracted to, you're gonna die alone, man. If I tell myself, yo, man, I'm not marrying nobody unless it's some big booty Brazilian from the jungles of Rio, motherfucker, and I don't got no money to get to Rio, you know what's gonna happen? If that's the only thing I want, you know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna die alone. because that's the only thing I want is some big booty Brazilian. That sounds so great. A big booty Brazilian in Rio de Janeiro. I need to know a Brazilian country, a Brazilian country that, or a city that starts with the letter B. A big booty Brazilian from Bacababa. And I don't got the money to get on a plane, and I can't afford to travel to go see her. You know, but that's the only broad that I want. Then that means I'm gonna die alone. That's all he meant by that, man. And people trying to call this shit karma, and some people say it's karma, and some people say it's the will of God. Like he was talking so much shit, and so many people were bothered by his words that God was like, you know what? We got all these murderers, rapists, swindlers, pedophiles, and killers all over the planet living into old age. Living well into old age. And they've done some egregious things that Kevin couldn't even conceive. They live till old age, but because Kevin ruffled some people's feathers because they aren't properly comprehending his message, or they're ignorant, or they are grossly uninformed, but they are offended. So God is using his precious energy and power that he uses to keep the stars and the planets in balance, that he uses to keep the earth from spinning off of his axis and crashing into the fucking sun. God gonna take some of his precious energy to kill this man whose overall scope and message is self-improvement. And y'all call that karma. Wow. It was a bitch, and rightfully so, an old fucking bitch that lied on Emmett Till and got Emmett Till brutally murdered in the 50s or the 60s, like over 50 years ago. And this woman died of old age, and she finally admitted that she lied and said he didn't do or say anything. She finally admitted that he lied when she was on her deathbed. Where the fuck was karma in that situation? Where was God in that situation? Because the answer is, I don't think the higher power cares about these frivolous things that we as humans can solve ourselves. Now, when it comes to a problem that I think humanity can't solve, when it comes to something that's gonna, on some extinction level event shit that's gonna destroy the entire planet, when it gets out of hand like that, that's when I think some type of celestial being or force or energy or God or whatever you want to call it, that's when they step in. But all just normal as human dealings, we can all figure this shit out. We can figure it out. Comets and shit start hitting the planet, solar flares start, you know what I mean? And then there's eruptions everywhere, and it's like extinction level floods and volcanoes and all this crazy ass shit. Then I think that's when some celestial being would step in, you know? And that's just my opinion. I have no way of proving it. That's just my own personal subjective opinion. But that bitch, Crystal, whatever the fuck her name is, she lived until old age. And here's another thing. The men, the fucking hillbillies that killed Emmett Till over a rumor, over some bullshit, and even the thing is, like, he whistled at her. So not what? So they supposed to be pummeled to death? He's supposed to pummel a 14-year-old boy to death because he allegedly whistled at a woman? Really? That warrants being killed? Like, come on, man. Those men died in old age. Where was karma with them? Where was God with them? So it's BS, man. You know what I mean? I shed a tear. Y'all can clown me or whatever. Yo, I was saying, like, yo, you can have your opinion. Just don't disrespect me, because I'm not disrespecting anybody at all, man. I'm not disrespecting that man. That man meant something to me, man. No, dude, I watch him all the time. No, I've gone weeks without watching him, man. You know? No, my bad. I'm like, yo, I've gone weeks, sometimes months without watching Kevin, because it's like, okay, I get it. My life sucks. I gotta improve. I know he doesn't know me, but a lot of what he says, it speaks to me, and it makes me feel bad. Yeah, but yeah, sometimes listening to him too much of those types, It makes you feel bad about yourself if you're not anywhere in life. But that's not their fault. That I feel bad about not being where I need to be in life. That's my fault. And I would no longer feel as bad once I improve my station. So I know sometimes, like, it's like medicine. Sometimes you gotta cut back on the medicine. Like, I totally get it. So I can get why some people are offended and rejoicing in him passing away. But that rejoicing is more of a reflection on you, not him. He don't know you. He never spoke to you in your life. He don't know you at all. He doesn't even know that you exist. That's all on you, boo-boo. You know what I mean? But, you know, to call it karma is bullshit. Don't make no sense, because there's way more people that's doing way worse shit that live until the elderly age, and karma doesn't affect them in the form of death at all. You know? It's not God's will. God just letting anything happen, because Kevin passed away, who hurt people's feelings, and there are people that are alive right now literally physically hurting people, and they're going to live until they are old. So that has nothing to do with God. That has nothing to do with the Creator at all. But yo, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's emotional, man. I feel fucked up. I feel fucked up. I do. And like I said, some of y'all can clown me. You know, y'all watch a snapshot or a couple clips or a couple headlines, and you're drawing these conclusions and these conclusions about this saint of a man, and you're having this mentality and this mindset. You know what I'm saying? But just because you have a negative feeling based on hearsay and based on limited information, don't rub that on me. I'm not Kevin. I didn't say all the things. I agree with a lot of his tenets. I don't agree with everything, but not everybody agrees with everything that everybody says. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? But the man you see right here, getting in better shape, dressing better, you know, chasing life a little harder. You know, Kevin ain't the sole reason for that, but he has a lot to do with that. And I just want to say, and we're gonna talk about it more. I'm gonna do a momentary podcast with my boy Devin. I'm gonna do a pod with him, and I don't know if we're gonna talk about it. I think more than likely we're gonna talk about it on a light skin perspective, but and even if we don't, I'm gonna talk about this more with other people and just have some panels, and just really want to talk about this man's legacy, because this shit is just to be somebody. We supposed to get 25 years out of this dude. You know, he was 53. We supposed to get another 25, 30 out of him, and just, I mean, there's, you know, fortunate enough, there are hours and hours and hours and hours of content to go back and really watch and just see his progression and his metamorphosis and who he became. You know what I'm saying? It's a good thing we have a lot of that. Just like Patrice O'Neal, there's thousands of hours if you want to learn about Patrice and who he was, man. You know, and get a clear picture of his mentality and his mindset. You know, the YouTube and the internet essentially makes us all immortal in a sense, because once you put those out there in the airwaves, videos and texts and things of that nature, it's never going to go away. It's always going to be somewhere in the ether. As long as there's power and as long as there is some type of server, it's always going to be out there, man. So it's always going to be here. So that's a good thing that we have this library of information from like a great influential person, man. It's good that we have that. Man. It's really, really good that we have that. And like I said, for you haters that hate on, like, I understand how you feel. It makes you feel bad about yourself because you're not doing good in life, man. Anybody that's doing good in life is not bothered by it. Like, doing great in life, most of these people aren't bothered by this message, man. They aren't, man. Point blank, period. Show me a person that got a problem with Kevin Samuels, what he's saying, and I bet you if I talk to him and do an interview with that individual, within 30 minutes I'll understand why they don't fuck with Kevin. And it got nothing to do with Kevin. It has everything to do with you and how you carry yourself in your position in life. Period. But rest in peace, Kev, man. Rest in peace to the saint Kevin Samuels, man. I'll let y'all, man. Peace.